They say if your bed is raised on bricks, it's definitely not for style. It's for keeping something from reaching you at night. Hello, beautiful people. Nagalina Gina Chofachamasha, otherwise known as Chokali, and this is Living Life with Chokali. Hi, my name is Chokali, and welcome to my journey. This is a space for growth, real conversations, and becoming the best version of ourselves. Welcome to my channel. If you are new to this channel, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and the share button so that our content can reach other people and we can continue to grow. We are on the road to 100 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and let's reach that goal. So this, I'm very excited to announce, is a new segment on my channel. It's called Authentic African Stories, and on this segment I'm going to be telling you guys stories from Africa, stories that have to do with myth, mystery, superstition, all things African folklore, and so much more. But I do have to tell you, some of these stories are based on true stories, on real life events, and real people and real occurrences. So if this is something that you're interested in, stay tuned for more. So let's get into it. On today's story, I'm going to be talking about the Tokoloshe. The Tokoloshe. There's no other word to describe this thing. Tokoloshe is not an English word. It's a vernacular word. I don't know, it doesn't belong to any specific tribe. It's just a vernacular word to describe a mythical creature. Those who have seen it, they say this creature is like, I'm so sorry to use this word, but they say it's a dwarf-like creature. It's a short creature. It looks like a disfigured human being. Looks like a human being, a mixed breed of a human and an unknown creature of some sort. Its features are very distinctive, and some say you can only see it if you have the vision, if your spiritual eye is open. If you are a spiritual person, you may be able to experience or to see what we call a Tokoloshe. Now in South Africa, there's been many instances, there's been many stories about the Tokoloshe, and today I'm going to tell you one of those stories, right? So what we know about the Tokoloshe is that the story is that people raise their beds to avoid it. They say if your bed is really low, then the Tokoloshe can climb on your bed and it can do unknown, unspeakable things to you. So that's why most people's beds are always raised. And if you go to the rural or the townships of South Africa, you find that most people, they put their beds or they raise their beds on bricks because they don't want their beds to touch the floor in case a Tokoloshe is lurking around and it may reach them at night. Apparently these creatures come out at night and they are owned by specific people who use these creatures for evil work, evil doings. If they want to bewitch you, they send the Tokoloshe. And if they want bad things to happen to you, they send the Tokoloshe. If they don't want you to prosper in life and they want your things to go south, guess what? They send the Tokoloshe. It is a well-known, it's very famous in South Africa, or rather infamous for all these things that I've mentioned to you. A Tokoloshe is a well-known spiritual creature in South Africa, but it is well known. I don't know what it is called in other countries, in other African countries, but here in South Africa it has been named Tokoloshe, and there's been so many stories in some publications about this creature. So the story that I'm about to tell you today is not a myth. This is a real story that happened to a real family in Botshabelo. Now, Botshabelo is a small town located in the province of the Free State in Southern Africa. In South Africa. So let's get into it. So it started small. It started small. So at night, this family would hear footsteps in the house when everybody was asleep. So imagine everyone in the house is asleep and yet they can hear footsteps in the house. And as they were sleeping, water would be poured onto them while they were on the bed. Imagine you're sleeping in your house, on your bed at night, and all of a sudden you hear footsteps, and as you're hearing those footsteps, water is being poured on you, on your bed at night. Now this family says mysterious things would happen around the house. Suspicious things, crazy things that they could not explain. For instance, the fridge would just open by itself, clothes and objects that were being thrown at them in the room at night while everybody is asleep. Clothes would be thrown at them, things would be thrown at them, and doors would open by themselves. Doors would move when no one was moving the door. Nobody was there. It was at night. They are fast asleep, and they would hear doors opening, things are being thrown at them, water is being poured on top of them. They're hearing footsteps at night, and the family said this went on for weeks. This happened so much and so often that this family was terrified to sleep. They were literally scared. When night fell, this family was terrified to go to sleep. They were so scared. And according to the reports, these disturbances became so intense that they believed that there was something invisible that was living with them in the house. Can you believe it? Now, everything, according to this family, it began so subtly. Like it started small with just footsteps. After footsteps, they started hearing things running on the roof, in the ceiling. All of a sudden, they start hearing doors moving in the house, footsteps. Things are being thrown at them. Water is being thrown at them. The fridge is opening itself. The doors are opening themselves. It was scary, and like I said, it became so intense. Like these things increased gradually, so much so that this family found it very difficult to sleep at night. As night fell, this family would become terrified, and they did not know what was wrong. They did not know what was going on in their house. All they knew was that things were happening in their home that were very unexplainable. They could not explain this to anyone because it felt really, really unreal. I mean, late at night when everybody was sleeping, they would hear things, sounds, footsteps, whispers, and they did not know what it was. So they tried to brush it off until one night things started to change. It is said that the youngest daughter of this family woke up suddenly, and she said she felt like something was sitting on her chest. You know what we call a sleep paralysis? So one thing that you guys need to know about Tokoloshes, it is said that they possess that kind of energy that comes with a sleep paralysis. So at first, because they're invisible to the physical eye, you just feel their presence, and they cause what we call a sleep paralysis. You're paralyzed in your sleep. You cannot move. You cannot breathe. Your body is frozen still. You feel things happening around you. You hear things happening around you, but there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And this happened one night to the youngest daughter in the family. As she was sleeping at night, it started once more. the sounds, the footsteps. And as she tried to open her eyes, she tried to move, all of a sudden her body was frozen still. She couldn't move, she couldn't blink, and she found it hard to breathe, as if something was sitting tightly on her chest. It is said that she tried with all her might. She tried with all her might to scream as loud and as possible as she could, but nothing. No movement, no sound, silence and tightness in her chest. She felt pressure for what was, I think, a good minute, and all of a sudden it stopped. And it said that she tried to explain this to her family, she tried to tell it to her parents, to her siblings, but they just thought maybe it's a bad dream. Although the family was aware of what was happening around in the house, they thought, maybe it's a bad dream. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that would want to believe that there are things, abnormalities that are happening in their home and they would want them to be true. So they just brushed it off as, nah, she had a bad dream, until this kept on happening to her for weeks. It's not clear as to how many weeks or how long, but it said that this kept happening to her for weeks. And after that, things did not get better. As a matter of fact, that's when things escalated. It got worse from there. So, and it said that one night the mother woke up, and as she woke up to water being poured on her face. And she woke up and she looked around and she could not see anything, but she was soaking wet in her bed. She could not see nothing, but she knew that somebody or something had definitely poured water on her, because she was soaking wet, even though she did not see what it was and she could not tell what it was, but she was soaking wet. It said that the mother woke up, went to the kitchen to try and dry herself, and she saw the fridge door open slowly and then slam shut. She did not see what opened the door, she could not see what it was, but the door would open by itself and it would slam shut all of a sudden. The pots in the kitchen would move and shift and they would fall. Imagine you're in your bedroom and pots are loud, especially at night. If you've ever tried to sneak in a midnight snack at night and you opened your pots, you know how loud pots are at night. And she tried to do that. She opened the kitchen, she opened the pots, ping-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Sounds were heard, but nothing was seen. After they heard sounds in the kitchen that like the pots, were making things that make the pots to not be done, they went to the kitchen to check, and still they found nothing. One night, they woke up, they were hearing sounds, doors, like wardrobes, like it's like somebody was opening the wardrobe or something, was opening the wardrobe, doing something. And they went to check, and what they found was that their clothes that were previously neatly packed and hung around perfectly were scattered all over the place, as if something or someone had gone through them. So this family at this point, they were terrified beyond measure. So what they decided to do is that they would all now sleep in the same room to avoid experiencing things individually that were happening to them that were terrifying this family. They resorted to all sleeping in the same room because they felt it was safer that way, and they felt like maybe if they are united and they're together in the same room, maybe these mysterious things would stop happening around the house. So one of the most disturbing moments that we hear about from this family came from the father. It is said that he woke up one night around 3 a.m. and he saw a small shadow near the door. It was not clear, it was not fully visible to him, he was not sure exactly what it was, but something was there. And this validated what this family had been suspecting for a long time. There was definitely something in the house that was living with them. According to the story, the father blinked one time and that thing was gone. And it said that the next morning what they found was they found some small and wet footprints on the floor in the house. It is said that the footprints were too small to be that of an adult, and yet they did not look like a child's footprint, because they had it's like they were creature-like. It's like a cat, but not really. It resembled a human foot, but it kind of looked like a cat somehow, and they did not understand what it was. But one thing they knew for sure is that what they had been suspecting all along was true. There was definitely something in the house that was living with them, that was terrorizing them, and that was doing all these mysterious things that were happening to them at night. And this is where things just continue to become terrible. So at this point, the family started to believe that they are being targeted. So now, as these things continued to happen, neighbors began to talk. Remember, this is a small town, and neighbors began to talk. Word got around, and they started to whisper. Some said it could be jealousy. Others said, someone might have sent something to disturb the household, and that's when the word started coming up. Tokoloshe. This family is being targeted by a Tokoloshe. This family is living with a Tokoloshe. What else could it be? I mean, it fits the description. The footprints, the terrorism, the shadows, the sleep paralysis. Everything started to make sense, and it got around. This family was definitely living with a Tokoloshe. And at this point, the family could not handle it any longer, and this is when they went to seek for help. Now, when something like this occurs, something that is definitely not of the physical world, something that is more of the spiritual world, what this family decided to do was to consult with a traditional healer, otherwise known as a sangoma. They decided to seek help. They could not take it any longer. It was unbecoming at this point. So the family went and they consulted with a traditional healer. They went and they consulted with a sangoma. After inspecting the house, the traditional healer told them, this is not random. All the activities that have been taking place around the house were not random. Something had been sent to their house. So rituals were performed. It's not clear what kind of rituals are performed, but it is believed that something of this nature can only be taken care of by a spiritualist. Whether it is a traditional healer, whether it is a prophet, whether it is a priest who will come and exercise your home, but it is an issue of the spirit, and therefore it needs a spiritual person to come and help you with the situation. And that's exactly what this family did. Rituals were performed, prayers were said, protective measures were put in place, and slowly but surely all the things stopped. All the mysterious footsteps, all the noise that they were having at night, all the things, the clothes, the fridge, the footprints, the sleep paralysis, it all stopped. But here's the thing, no one actually saw the creature clearly to say that actually this is a Tokoloshe for sure, and it was sent to them. It was just speculations because of what the family was experiencing, and the symptoms fit the description of what a Tokoloshe is and what it does. As to why this family was targeted, that we will never know. But we do know this for sure. Something was definitely happening to this family, although no one could prove what it was. Whether it was something supernatural, whether it was fear manifesting, or whether it was science that we can't fully explain. Nobody really knows. But whatever was in that house and whatever it was doing, it never showed itself fully. We don't know why it was there, but what we do know is that something was in that house and something was terrorizing that family for. So after all that was said and done, the family, the rituals were performed, everything stopped. There were no footsteps, there were no movements, there were no water. It felt like whatever that was in the house was finally gone, and this family could have peace at last. However, the peace did not last for long, because it is said that months later something small happened. The youngest daughter started refusing to sleep in her bed again, and when her mother asked why, she said, "It's back, but it's hiding now." At first, they just thought, you know what? Maybe it's just fear lingering in her mind. Trauma can do that to you. Maybe it's just post-trauma fear. And until that night, the father heard it again. The footsteps, slower this time, much, much heavier this time. Not moving around the house, but stopping right outside the bedroom. And that's the moment that changed everything. He stayed still. Everybody was quiet. Everybody was in the same room, listening until the door handle opened. Slowly, as if something was on the other side, trying to come in. Now, this is the story of the Tokoloshe, and this is actually a real life thing that happened to a real family in South Africa. Whether it really was a Tokoloshe, that we will never know, but yeah, there has been instances reported of people who claim to have seen the creature with their own eyes. Whether the Tokoloshe is real or not, whatever happened to that family in that house was definitely real. This is Authentic African Stories. My name is Chilfa Jomasho, otherwise known as Chilokeli. Now, if you are interested in more stories like these and you want to hear more stories, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I will continue to provide you with mystery, with more superstition, and authentic African stories. Bye.